My next guest is actively transforming the way we consume storytelling in our city. TJ Travis is Windsor's multicultural community storyteller. He wants to establish a brick and mortar gallery space dedicated just to that, the art of storytelling. TJ Travis joins me in the studio. Tell us more. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Great to have
Thank
you here. It's always nice when you come walking in. Such a ray of sunshine. Now, when I think of storytelling in a space, I would think of the library. Why not do this at the library?
The library is a fantastic space to host storytelling, but it also serves something very, very specific, sometimes often quite quiet. There's programming in that space, but I think the fact that storytelling is the thing that brings us all together, that it deserves to have its own prioritized space. So my intention, what I endeavor to do is to open up what could possibly be like one of the first storyteller galleries. Like I think if either of us or any of the story or any of the listeners were to do a search on Storyteller Gallery Ontario, nothing's really going to come up. After this interview, CBC TJ Travis Storyteller Gallery might be the first thing. And since we all hold stories so dear, and that's our connection to all of our lineage and the thing that connects us all in a meaningful way, we should have organized gallery spaces for storytelling specifically.
So take me inside. What will it look like? What will people hear?
Yeah, so the installation would oftentimes be probably something multimedia, but we would have a storyteller in residence quarterly who would be inside the space to share stories, to work with the community to create stories, and to provide a space where if you are out, we have a beautiful selection of art galleries in this city, but you would also have the option of going into a place and just listening to stories, like getting to know people. And I know that it's important because I've been hosting a storytelling event, A Blaze of Stories, since February 2023, and we have a packed house every month. And now the featured storytellers are coming right out of the audience. So the folks that we walk past every day, we nod our head at, we might say hello. Now we're hearing everything about them, and it's fascinating. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's why I love my job.
Oh,
You're in my storytelling
Right?
gallery right now. We call it a studio, but this is where we share our stories.
This
and tell
is
our stories.
definitely a storyteller
But to
gallery.
make it more, it is. But to make it more accessible to people in this way, how is that going to serve Windsor differently?
I would argue that Windsor's like one of the most historically significant communities across North America. Like in that story, we have a nice thick chapter in that story when we talk about when we consider the original peoples who are on this land, when we consider the people who have come here, settled or unsettled, the way that over the course of 150 years or so, stories, like so many stories. Like how can we best honor this community, be honest about this community for better or for worse, than to have a space that is specifically dedicated to telling those sorts of truths. I crave it. Like I think it's really important.
Tell us where this space will be, because I think this is also really fascinating.
Oh, so the space would be located inside what I consider to be a regional gem, Show Studios. They've been around for maybe 10 or 15 years or so. This arts community is outstanding. It started out with a group of people who were passionate about cultivating community through the creative arts. They had a little garage area inside where the Ambassador Cleaning Place is. It was previously the dairy factory, corner of Wyandotte and Monmouth. And today they have 30,000 square feet. I think there's 35 art studios in there. There's a music school in there. There's a dance studio in there. I hosted a show just last night inside their original space, which they refer to as Old Show. And recently they showed me this fantastic space that's just at the rear of the building. It's just under 2,000 square feet, and it is ready to be animated with storytelling.
So take me into your vision. So I come into the studio. I know there's going to be a storyteller. I walk into a space. What will I see?
You're going to come into a space that would look a lot like a contemporary art gallery, a clean slate, white walls, clean floor, very minimalistic, with the attention going right to that space where a storyteller might sit. The installation will be different depending on the storytelling, because when I consider storytelling, it's we consume stories through books, but I'm thinking like performance storytelling, poetry, music, dance, experimental. It might be a DJ inside the space on ones and twos, sharing stories through the scratching of vinyl. We want to expand the idea of what storytelling is, because we practice it all the time. Every conversation consists of a story, otherwise we'd have no purpose to be verbal at all. The fact that we don't have like dedicated spaces, not just in Windsor, Essex, but very few places, maybe even across Ontario, means that, Windsor can kind of stand out front. We can establish, that model here, share it with other communities, and the gallery that I have in mind, will also be a BIPOC run arts organization that's prioritizing underrepresented voices. Inviting all of the voices to the table, but representing the voices that have been unrepresented for far too long.
When will it open?
Oh, that is a good question. In my mind, it's opened already. I feel like as they say, the market research has been happening inside Cafe Amore on the second Tuesday of every month through Blaze of Story. I've been in the space. When I did the show yesterday at show, the intention was to bring the Blaze of Story audience into that building so that they could, get some roots inside that space, become familiar with that space. And then to make the big announcement that, we will have like Ebony Contemporary Gallery inside this space. When it happens, maybe 2 months from now, maybe 6 months from now, if somebody, sends me an email and they're like, we have a truck full of money because we believe in your vision, then it could happen tomorrow. But right now, it's in the process of materializing the things that come along with establishing a gallery, and that's oftentimes capital.